Good morning, everyone. This is Mary. You're watching another little piece of my art. Right now we're going to take a look through Zen Doodling Mandalas by Carolyn Scrace. S-C-R-A-C-E. This is a Barron's book. I will try to make sure that I look for it on Amazon or wherever I can see to find it, and put the link in the description. I've already flipped through another one of these. It was the one called Inspiration, Earth, Air, Fire, and Water, but I don't know in what order these will be posted. So if you want to see that one, just check my channel. These are books on how to create patterns, like Zen Doodle patterns. You can use those in backgrounds on your coloring pages, or you can use them in journals, or whatever it is, you know, whatever kind of art you do. So let me try to get this better in frame here. This one has a lot of similar things that the other one that I flipped through that I was just telling you about has. So I don't know if you would technically need both of these books if you're interested in getting them, getting one, because some of the patterns and things are the same. I just picked up both, three of them because of the price. They were $1.99 at my Ollie's, and I figured why not. But if you are going to pay full price for these, you know, you might not need to get this one and the Earth, Air, Fire, and Water one, because a lot of the stuff, as I said, is the same. So it goes through your tools, your materials. Did we have no color theory? The other one has a color theory page in there, but that's easily Googleable. This is building patterns, explaining how to, whoops, sorry about that. Explaining how to, you know, what shapes turn into what. And, yeah. Okay, this part I found extremely useful. When you look at a pattern, sometimes it's so much on your eyes that you don't really know where to begin. And so this is deconstructing, and it shows you when you have a pattern, you know, you look at that and you're like, well, what do I draw first? And it shows you here how to go about doing that. So once you know how something comes together by taking it apart, then you become really familiar with it, and it's easier to do, in my opinion. Okay, here we go. Here's color theory. I figured she'd put that in there. Light and shade. So again, the same as the other book, you know, she's explaining, you know, I always have my light coming from the right. I don't know why, but in all my colored pictures, I seem to always favor the light coming from that direction. Maybe it's like something they taught in school and I just absorbed it that way, but you know, so you can see if your light is coming this way, then your shadows, where your shadows would be at. So that's all that is. So here we have some blind doodling. This is a fun exercise. I have actually done this one before, where you would just start with a pencil line and just blah, blah, blah around, and then start making patterns inside your larger shapes. It's a great exercise to loosen up with, right? See what you come up with. I noticed too that a lot of people, when we doodle, we all seem to have a sort of organic shapes that we've probably been doodling for most of our lives. It's a strange thing, but I have noticed that. I don't know about you guys, but if well, back in the days when I used to talk on the phone, you know, when people had phones and that they sat and talked on, now it's texting. But back in those days, I have little doodle pads that would be sitting around. I would always find myself doodling flowers. So I'm assuming that ever since I've been little, that's what I doodle. I don't know. So when you're doing when you're gonna do mandalas, we're talking about protractors here, because the degrees are gonna help you with knowing how far apart to set your lines. And that's going to make things even. So there's just a little bit about that, using compass and protractor. Everybody should have a compass and a protractor, in my opinion. I mean, it's just a handy tool, you know? And then here she is going into more of a detailed pattern, of course. I mean, I don't know. That's not something I would attempt right away, but here's the steps on that. You draw yourself a kitty. Looks pretty simple. I would definitely try drawing the kitty. I just don't know if I would be ready to cram it into a mandala, right? Here's a kitty from Circles. This one is called Planning with a Pencil. So yeah, this is just talking about if you're out and about, you know, and you see something that strikes you, you could do a little sketch of it and plan that into your mandala later. Here's some helpful hints there. And now we're back to doing this kitty mandala. For you cat lovers out there, you might like that one. And then the patterns here are broken down so that you can see what all goes into this, because it looks like so much when you first look at it, but it's, you know, it's really just one small thing to another, and so forth and so on. So I really love this one. I'm a sun person, and I think this would be so pretty, you know, to try and make and then maybe frame or something. I don't know. Those moons are pretty intense. They're, oh my gosh, they're like phases. That's cool. So here's some tips on how to do those. The man in the moon face, the sun face. Very cool. Watercolor washes. Here we have a bit on contrast and how to build this beautiful sun mandala. Here we have the borders and how those came together, right? The star patterns. I think a lot of this is really down to making sure that you keep things even, because I know when I try to do any type of mandala Zen doodling freehand, I get frustrated because I don't have a ruler or a compass or a protractor with me sometimes, and even if I try to do things straight, I end up being a little bit wonky. And then if you can't fit all of the elements in, you know, so we have 1, 2, 3 full stars here and some half stars. Like if I was making this and I was doing it without any guidance, if I can't fit this in the way it looks here, then I get frustrated because it's all off. So yeah, I think the big thing with this is going to be, you know, is to just try to keep things as even as possible with your tools. Here's a labyrinth. I'm assuming that she went to a labyrinth, and this is a photo of that place, and then how she achieved making this one. Her palette. Here's again doing the rough sketches before you know, go into something in depth, using up your supplies. I think it's a good idea to do this rough sketch and see, you know, if your idea is going to pan out the way you want it to, if it looks good with the colors, you know, and then go in. And so here's the step-by-steps on making your labyrinth. And then she goes into more details on what is filling in the patterns here and how to do those. And here we have the borders. So pretty, right? Now she's going into some Yin and Yang symbols here. This looks more like the traditional Zen doodling that, you know, I learned about some years ago, which is done with like a Sharpie, you know, fine liners, very, very fine point Sharpies, and it's all black and white. You know, and what I like about that idea is, look, if you're going somewhere and you don't want to carry a bunch of things because it gets very heavy. Like I'm traveling on Monday, and you know, I got a super cheap flight, but I can't bring any baggage. So it's basically what I can fit in a personal size item. So I have a large purse, and I have shipped my clothes ahead of me. Um, but yeah, you know, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be where I'm going without doing any art. If you find yourself in a situation like that, this type of thing is really great because, you know, you just bring a small pad of paper or a small sketchbook and some black pens. I mean, that's pretty much as small as you can get, you know, as reduced amount of space as you can get and still make art, I guess. So I'm always interested in anything that's like travel size. I have an obsession with travel size things. Travel size and, you know, just very small things that tuck away, things that have more than one use. I find myself fascinated with stuff like that. So, sorry I went off on a tangent there. But I think art should be accessible. If you have to have too many supplies, or you have to, you know, you can't do a project because you don't have all the stuff, it's so frustrating. So for me, I like to find things that I can do with what I have. This is really cool. I would doodle just that, like that, you know, without this whole thing, but this whole thing is gorgeous. This one is called Earth and Nature. I mean, you can see why she wrote a book. Apparently she knows what she's doing. She's created some beautiful work here. Again, with the thumbnail and how it's come together. Inspiration. Here's a lovely tree of life. Well, that's the inner part of the one that had the lady there. There she is. Textures. I see the little octopus. That's cute. This one is the heart and love. So this would be a cool one to try towards Valentine's Day, maybe. That would be a really pretty card to make someone or gift them. Super cool, right? And then here's her thumbnails again, her original idea. I like those. You want to try those. I think this is a pretty simple, straightforward design to start out with. Beautiful. Here's some spirals. And I like how she is looking for the things in nature to represent her shapes, or where her designs actually come from. You know, they'll tell you in art class that if you break everything down to its shapes, its simple shapes, then it makes it a lot easier to draw. So, you can hear my dog eating, sorry guys. Here's a sunflower. Spiral. Here's a section on framing. Snowflakes. This was in the last video, so that's why I was saying if you didn't want to buy both books, then you could choose one or the other, because some of the information in here is repeated. And that's it. In the back is the glossary and the index. Once again, here is the back, which you can't see the code, but I will put the book in the description of the video if I can find it. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.